Hello, it's the Politics Explained by a Teen podcast. Hi guys, if any of you are listening, which is hello. Today we'll be talking about safe schools, and none of you commented or asked questions about my last podcast about abortion in Australia. But if you have any questions, don't be scared to ask. I would like to have a nice conversation. And so, yeah, many of you have probably heard of the Safe Schools Coalition by the government, which is a quote-unquote at the education.gov.au/safe schools. I will put the sources in the description. It's quote, the Safe Schools Coalition Australia is the first national program funded by the Australian government aimed at creating safe and supportive school environments for same-sex attracted, intersex and gender diverse people by reducing homophobic and transphobic bullying and discrimination in schools. So what this thing is to sort of say, if you're gay, lesbian or other, it's basically saying, it's basically like safe spaces, I guess, where you are not, how to explain, where they will support you in your decision. And so there are arguments that this is good because it stops bullying to gay people or other, and it makes them feel included, I suppose would be the word they would use. For reasons, and people that oppose this are suddenly branded homophobic and transphobic, even though most of them are not, maybe some of them. But the reason why I personally believe it is wrong is because when you're in high school and primary school, it is not, you are still like going you're still growing, where your brain is still growing and you haven't, like, you're shaping yourself. Basically, you're being molded into who you are for the rest of your life. And what this is kind of saying, oh, it's okay to be gay because it's natural, or it's okay to be transgender, of the 1 billion these are 1 billion genders there are out there. It's okay, you can be whatever you want to be. Well, I'm sorry, that is a bunch of BS, because it's basically encouraging you to be gay. And if you are not gay and you think gay marriage and other genders is just wrong and immoral, I think it's the word, then you are transphobic, homophobic, lesbian phobic, I don't know, you're a misogynist as well. You're a patriarchal misogynist, I don't know. That's what they kind of saying. If you think this is wrong, well, you are actually wrong, and you don't get to say so, because that is homophobic and transphobic and whatever phobic there is, because they yell it in your face that you're wrong. So why I think it's wrong is because there are only 32,377 same-sex couples in Australia to the Australian Bureau of Statistics. That is how many out of 24 million, and out of 24 million people, there are only 32,377 same-sex couples in Australia. So that's probably like 64,000 around there, altogether. No, sorry, I said that wrong. There are only 32,000 altogether, like, not as in just one couple, is altogether. There are 32,000, I don't know, just there are 32,000 same-sex couples in Australia, according to the Australian Bureau of Statistics. So, and most of them are over the age of 18. So, basically, what the Safe Schools is trying to do is making young children believe they are gay or lesbian, when maybe they're just a bit more feminine than most men, because there is a line of feminine at one end and masculine at another. Just because a girl is a tomboy does not mean she is a man. She is a woman that is a bit more masculine than most women. And some men are more feminine than most men. So it doesn't mean they're the other gender. It just means that they're a bit more feminine. So it's nothing wrong with that. It's just you're not that gender. There is a small, like around 1,600 people in Australia that believe they're transgender. But in reality, only a small number are actually, like, there is a small number that are diagnosed to actually have this transgender where their brain is born into the wrong body. But very small, not like 3 million people, like 1,600 people. And so we don't need huge schools funding millions of dollars to make like 5 people feel okay. I think that is messed up because most people don't really care. And so you don't need to have a statue and a portrait of yourself in a museum just because you are different to everyone else. That's kind of wrong. And safe schools is because when Hitler came to power in like 1930 something, I can't remember, he brainwashed the youth and the Hitler youth, and he trained them, and they were brainwashed by their education, thinking he was the best and he had to fight for the fatherland and all that. That was a bunch of BS. And what schools should be, and universities included, primary school, middle school, high school, and university, should be a time where you're open to everything, even some things that your parents might completely disagree with. You should still be exposed to that because that's what you got to learn. And what the safe schools thing is basically brainwashing children to think that there are 79 genders or whatever, and that you can be gay, you can be lesbian, and it is okay because everyone will give you a clap and stand up for you like they do to veterans. Well, veterans deserve to be clapped because they fought for your country. But you do not, because you have done nothing. If you are transgender or gay, you haven't really... I don't see why you should have special privileges, because that's not equality. I think you should be treated just like everyone else is. Shouldn't that be the way it should be? So, also, on the Bureau of Statistics, I found a sentence in the careers section saying, the ABS encourages applications from Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people with a disability, mature age workers, people from diverse cultural and linguistic backgrounds, and lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, intersex people. abs.gov.au/careers or something. So that's what it's basically saying in a bunch of longer words is, if you're white and you're straight and you're a male, we don't want you. We just want everyone else to be diverse. Even if that white male that is straight is actually smarter than everyone else. So that's kind of racist and excluding a person into one group, don't you think? Isn't that against what feminists and all these groups are fighting for? No. And also, the way that Australian Bureau of Statistics defines gender is the way in which a person identifies their masculine and feminine characteristics. A person's gender relates to their deeply held internal and individual sense of gender, is determined by the individual. It can therefore be fluid over time. I think that's just stupid. If you look down to your private areas, if you have a penis, you're a male. If you have a vagina, you're female. End of story. There is nothing else to be said. Okay, it's pretty simple. So that is what kind of an idea of what the Safe School Coalition is. if you thought I was a little bit biased, well, I was a bit frustrated. But basically, it's just trying to promote same-sex marriage, other genders and intersex and whatever. It's just stupid because it's literally saying if you're gay, transgender, bisexual, lesbian, you should have your own special place because we don't want you to feel bad. But if you're white, straight and male, well, sorry, you're a misogynist. Okay, that's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. It's really stupid, and I think we should stop it because it's also a waste of money. Because the government wants to put all this money in so people don't feel rejected. Well, oh my gosh. How about we fund housing for Aboriginal people that are living on riverbeds because, the government doesn't build them houses? Why don't we fund that money on giving aid to foreign countries? Why don't these LGBT protesters go and protest at the Saudi embassies where they stone gays and lesbians? Why don't they do that? They even do it outside of marriage. We don't do that in Western cultures. I think these LGBT people need to start protesting at the right places, in my opinion. And I think they just need to get a history lesson and a school lesson and a biology lesson because there are only two genders. I am sorry. It's fact. We've lived with it for thousands of years. Only two genders. I think we can live without having 29 million genders, whatever. So that was my episode of ranting about safe school. Well, trying to just opening people up to safe schools, even though it was kind of biased against it because I just can't see any pros in it at all. I think it's a bunch of crap, basically. So, yes, feel free to comment about it and tell me why you disagree with me or you agree with me. I would like to know. Thank you and see ya on next Wednesday. Bye.